And another example of this, by the way, is this vaccination business. Out of the clear blue of the western sky, all of a sudden, literally out of the blue, there is a massive controversy in the Republican Party over vaccinations necessary for our kids for an outbreak of measles. And we're being told that the Republicans oppose mandatory vaccines, and the Republicans don't want government to be involved in this, and the Republicans, therefore, are against public health. And, of course, it's just like the Republicans and the war on women with that question Stephanopoulos kept ridiculously asking Mitt Romney, do you support contraception? It wasn't even an issue. The only reason this is an issue, by the way, I'm telling you, I resent having to come here and talk about this because it makes it look like I'm falling for the trick. And it's nothing more than a leftist Democrat trick. And what they're trying to do here is distract everybody from the abomination that is the Obama administration. They're distracting everybody from its stupid, ridiculous budget that's dead on arrival. They're trying to distract everybody from Obamacare and how that's literally going to hurt people. I mean, Obamacare and what's coming with that when people file their taxes and the new tax increases and all of the exemptions Obama is granting to cushion that blow. The things that are happening because of Obama's policies are all trying to be covered up and hidden and distracted from with this silly vaccination thing. If we need to vaccinate our kids today, there's one reason for it. Barack Obama and the Democrat Party and open borders. And that's something that nobody's talking about in this whole debate. No, the whole debate somehow is now once again focused on what a bunch of Neanderthals the Republican presidential candidates are. Meanwhile, if you do some research, you find out it was both Obama and Hillary who were out there spreading this idea that certain vaccines might lead to autism, and they were cautioning against mass vaccine. They're the ones doing it. They're the ones that are on record as being opposed to mass vaccines whenever government says it must happen. Hillary has been on both sides because she and her husband at the same time have been on the financial good side of mass vaccine manufacture and sale and import. What a convoluted mess. This is exactly what I mean. I get up every day, I'm minding my own business, and I get here and I find out how people on the left are trying to destroy traditions, institutions, and people. And so we have to come in here and react to the absolute crap these people dump on our culture and dump in our politics and dump in our society. And so now everybody's running around with their heads cut off here, trying to get on this vaccination debate. Nobody wants to be seen as insensitive to our kids. Oh, no. And nobody wants to be seen as heartless and cold to our kids. We've got kids as a measles outbreak. We conquered that freaking disease. And in case anybody's forgotten, we conquered measles. But the kids that Obama has let flood the country via the southern border were not vaccinated against anything. And Obama's demanding that they be populated in schools and communities, neighborhoods all over the country. They don't have to be vaccinated before coming into the country. They don't have to be really medically checked after getting into the country because they're here as future voters and anything gets in the way of that's going to be shut aside. So the Democrats are literally trying to create the new war on campaign issue. This is simply a retread, if you will, or a repositioning of the war on women. There's a piece at the Federalist here called The Insane Vaccine Debate. We've had mandatory vaccine policies in America since before the Emancipation Proclamation. Why are they controversial now? It's been dominant. Why are they controversial now? Well, one of the reasons they're controversial, and make no mistake that this is the new birth control pill question for the GOP. That's exactly what this is. This is no different than when George Stephanopoulos asked Romney, so how do you feel about contraception? You think government ought to mandate contraception? You think states ought to be involved in contraception? And Romney had no idea. Nobody was even talking about it. What the hell are you talking about, George? I don't know. And Romney should have just said, no, I'm not answering the question. I don't even know what you're talking about. Move on. But he answered it. It didn't matter what he said. He answered it. Bingo. Republican candidate speaks out on contraception. Here comes war on women. And you know how that went. So we now inject out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, we throw an issue into the Republican primary debate. And the only reason to do this is it hurts Republicans. This is about destroying Republicans. It's about destroying every Republican running for president. The purpose is to falsely position political enemies of the Democrat Party. They're trying to poison the GOP brand. At the same time, they're trying to control people. But make no mistake, this vaccination debate, as it has reared its head, this is not about science. It isn't about medicine. It's not about informing concerned parents. It is all about politics, just like global warming is all about politics. If there's an epidemic in this country that is literally hurting people, it is liberalism and the intolerance of people on the left. It is not measles. We have a measles outbreak precisely because of the Democrat Party. We have, and I might add, the Republican establishment that joins them and doesn't stop this and doesn't fight back against it and doesn't oppose it. You open the borders to kids from poor, underprivileged, undereducated South American, Central American countries. Who knows what you're going to get? When you make no effort to find out before they get here, this is what's going to happen. So we got a measles outbreak. The cynic part of me says somebody probably hoped this would happen, figured it would happen. It's another opportunity to portray Republicans as a heartless, cold, insensitive, anti-government, therefore anti-people political party. You know, the irony of this is that if you go to Republican candidate after Republican candidate, you're going to find most of them are probably pro-vaccination. There are a lot of GOP voters who aren't, though. And see, that's the dirty little secret, if I may use that cliche. There are a lot of Republican voters suspicious of this. Most of the candidates are for it. But you remember all that talk about these vaccines, mandatory vaccines, that were causing autism? Do you remember, by the way, that nobody ever established a firm link between vaccines and autism? Yet, do you know how many people bought that? Because people are desperately looking for an explanation, and they're desperately looking for a way to make sure their children don't get or don't become autistic. And if one of the ways to avoid autism is to not get vaccinated, well, then guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to get vaccinated. And who was it spreading that dribble around? It was Barack Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton. And I've got the transcripts of what they said about it right here in my formerly nicotine-stained question. It's a Huffing and Puffington Post story. Obama climbs on the vaccine research bandwagon. No matter who wins in Pennsylvania today, this is 2008. No matter who wins in Pennsylvania today, the next president will support research into the growing evidence of some link between vaccines and autism. Senator McCain's already expressed his belief that vaccines and the mercury containing preservative thimerosal could be implicated in what he has rightly termed an autism epidemic. Thank you, Senator McCain. Just join the conventional wisdom bandwagon and get right on it. And then Senator Hillary Clinton, in response to a questionnaire from the autism activist group HAMP, wrote that she was, quote, committed to make investments to find the causes of autism, including possible environmental causes like vaccines, close quote. When asked if she would support a study of vaccinated versus unvaccinated children, she said, quote, yes. We don't know what, if any, kind of link there is between vaccines and autism, but we should find out, close quote. Now, yesterday, at a rally in Pennsylvania, Obama had this rather surprising thing to say. Remember now, this is 7 years ago. We have seen just a skyrocketing autism rate. Some people are suspicious that it's connected to the vaccines, this person included, meaning himself. The science right now is inconclusive, but we have to research it. So there you have it. It says here in the Huffington Post, our next president will share the views of such radical fringe crazies as Robert Kennedy Jr. and Bernardine Healy and several researchers at Harvard that we must dig deep looking into vaccines before we universally prescribe them. Right. Democrats opposed to universal vaccines might lead to autism. Now, all of a sudden, 7 years later, it's those rascally Republicans, those insensitive, compassionless Republicans, who don't think you ought to have to put up with vaccinating your kids against measles because of what, I mean, and out of nowhere. I just want to, I have not fallen for this. I am not talking about this as though it's a real issue. I'm trying to dispel a real issue. I'm trying to tell you what it's really all about, the next war on whatever Republicans are conducting. This is pure politics, like everything is with the left. And if we've got a problem, if we have an outbreak of a disease problem, you can trace it right to the Oval Office. You can trace it right to the man whose face I'm looking at on television right now, Barack Obama, and his open borders, and a hello and welcome and come on in to millions of kids from Central and South American countries, poor and what have you, who are bringing this disease and who knows what others with them. They are not arriving vaccinated. I mean, it's insane. It literally makes no common sense, any of this that's happening. I got to take a break. Sit tight. Back at